Good morning and thank you for joining me again. And welcome to Norway. Since this is the first day, let us have a quick look at the travel card.
The currency is the Norwegian krone, and in cases of emergency, dial 112. If you plan to use a drone, check the latest regulations at flydrone.no. If you're driving, the official toll website is epass24.com. There are a number of charging networks run by local and regional operators like Kople, Mer, Circle K, and Vattenfall, etc. You will also find large international operators like Ionity and Shell Recharge. Finally, here are some places I recommend visiting. What would you like to see?
It is 7:05 in the morning and I just left the campground at 8:02. Yes, I am practicing my time warp skills, 1 hour at a time. I should have timed it a bit better so I could check the stock market and place my orders accordingly, though. I'm still practicing. Never mind that. It was indeed funny to drive the 3 minutes from the campground to the Norwegian border and have gained an hour in the day. Today is the day. I think I said this before when we met Santa Claus. Never mind. Today is the day. You remember me saying that I might stay an extra day in Finland? Well, scrap that. I hinted it in the last video. When I checked the weather forecast, yes, that's something I do a lot these days, I noticed that today seems to be the only day when the Nordkapp has good weather, and then there are 6 or more days of not so good weather. It is a 330 kilometers drive from the campground to the Cape, and I will stop in Lakselv to charge the car. So let's go. Norway is definitely my favorite country in the world. Sorry, my Kiwi friends. New Zealand ranks very close in second place. What would make Norway perfect, though, is if they'd only know how to bake bread. It's all a bit spongy here. Still, I was hungry and needed something to eat, so the supermarket next to the charger came in handy. 42 kilowatts later, and the battery from 43 to 96%, and I got back on the road. It is a very scenic drive, so I shall just shut up and let the pictures speak for themselves. It is 11:30 and I have arrived. There are surprisingly few people here, but the unpredictable weather may have something to do with it. My plan is to stay here until midnight for the midnight sun, so I will have half a day of looking around, video editing, and sleeping ahead of me. Let's start with a look around. As far north as the Nordkapp may be, it is still 2,100 kilometers south of the actual North Pole. It also is not the northernmost point of Europe, nor of the immediate area. Letter honor goes to Knivskjelodden, a peninsula to the west of here, and on the very same island of Magerøya. Where Nordkapp comes first, as northernmost, is reachable from the mainland by road, and that one was built in 1956. The actual northernmost point of Europe lies in either Norway's Svalbard archipelago or Russia's Franz Josef Land. Yes, a very Russian name. Both of them are several hundred kilometers further north. At the Nordkapp, the Atlantic Ocean and the Barents Sea shake hands, or possibly more fitting, bump fists. And the same could be said for the Nazis and the British and Norwegians in 1943. The fist bumping, I mean, quite figuratively speaking. Maybe also headbanging. It is a cliff that looms 307 meters over the sea, and the rocks you are standing on are of Silurian age, which makes them 420 to 440 million years old. The name was given by one Stephen Borrow, who sailed past it in 1553 trying to find the Northeast Passage and thought he was farther north than he actually was. Its popularity for tourism started in the late 19th century after King Oscar II of Norway and Sweden visited in 1873. However, back then they actually had to scale the cliff on some kind of via ferrata, i.e. using wired ropes that had been placed. While admission to the Nordkapphallen is pricey at 315 Norwegian krones, it has the only toilet in quite far. Those who arrive by any non-motorized means can actually get in for free. To get such treatment, you could, for example, join the North Cape 4000, a bicycle race that finishes at the Cape, or do the Norge På Longs, a ski route through Norway that also ends at the Cape. Possibilities are plenty. I mean, you could just cycle or hike there anyway. This may now also be a good point in time to talk about the midnight sun and the Arctic Circle, because, well, I am also here for the midnight sun, right? Do you know how the two are linked? Correct. The Arctic Circle marks the southernmost area where you can observe the midnight sun in summer. And do you know why there is midnight sun in the first place? Correct again. The Earth's axis is inclined by 23.5 degrees relative to its orbital plane around the Sun. Quite a mouthful, I know. As a result, we observe changing seasons as well as shorter days in winter and longer days in summer, up to the degree of 24 hours of sunshine each day, usually from middle May until July 29th, north of the Arctic Circle, and if there is good weather. Otherwise, you'll simply be able to see yourself getting wet at midnight, not just feel it. There you have it. Why am I talking about this right now? There is actually a nice display here at the Cape that provides some information on this topic. I managed to sleep 3 hours before my alarm woke me, and it appears to have rained in the meantime. The car park is even emptier than before, with the exception of a few more coaches. These heavy clouds create a nice atmosphere, especially because the sun is able to break through. And then these clouds hovering just over the water. It appears to be a common feature at the North Cape that it actually lurks above the clouds. All right, that was a short stint. Clouds have drawn in and it started raining, so that will be my cue to leave. As I didn't want to let the night go to waste, I decided to stop at a Couplet charger in Russenes. It meant another 2 hours of driving through the rain, but then the battery would be low, and I could get quite a few hours of sleep in while charging the car. I plugged into the 22 kilowatt hour slow charger. The Kia can only do 11 kilowatts on AC, and it would take 5.5 hours to fully charge. That's another 5 hours and a bit I can sleep, and sleep I did. As this is the end of the Nordkapp journey, let's have a quick look at the map and driving data. I left the campground at 8 in the morning, only to gain an hour after 3 minutes of driving due to entering Norway, which is on Central European time. After 92 kilometers, I reached Lakselv to charge the car, 42 kilowatt hours later, and battery from 43 to 96%, and I continued my journey. After 188 kilometers, I reached Nordkapp, where I spent the next 13 hours, to then drive another 122 kilometers to Rusnes, where I charged 62 kilowatt hours over the next 333 minutes, most of which I slept through. As always, the driving information can be found on my website www.TRAVELectric.net. Tomorrow I will head west on Highway E6, which is an absolute scenic marvel up here. Thank you again for joining me on this journey, and I hope you enjoyed it and found it useful. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'm looking forward to seeing all of you again on the next leg of our journey. You have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye.